Welcome to Mr. Mahantesh Yalamali. So he's the James Bond of interior architecture. Also, he's known as the villa man of Bangalore. So he constructs a lot of villas and works with villas basically. So he's a good friend of mine, a marathoner, and much more. And today the spotlight is on who he is basically in terms of the way he builds interior architecture for villas and that. So welcome, Matesh. Welcome to the Swayambhu Stories.
Thank you, Sunil, for giving me this opportunity and to share, be part of your podcast. I don't say myself James Bond, but I would rather say myself that and I'm the saver who wants to build a home.
We've heard that this thing, so design thought architects, if you want to design your home the way you want it to, design thoughts architect is the way forward. So directly jumping onto this, so what's the founder story?
Yeah, the story began basically, when I finished my architecture course, and I was working with senior architects, and they have been doing a fabulous big scale projects, and I was one among them, and I was so fortunate that I was there for almost 8 years, and which is a good time for somebody to come out from architecture college, and then 8 years spending in the field is a great experience. And yeah, with his blessings, I began my career, and my senior, Mr. Karambeya, who I worked with. So that's where my, the journey began, basically in, 2011.
That was a dream coming from North Karnataka, and this nobody else in your house had been into this particular place.
Actually a destiny, me coming to, in this field. Basically, I think field is something I have heard is that, the profession is something chooses you. It's not me chooses profession. I'll give you a small story to it that, while I was in my, fourth or fifth standard, I used to go to my, I'm from Belgaum, so I used to go to Sholapur, which is my aunt place, where my cousin was a civil engineer. So, he is 10 years elder than me. So, and so he used to take me to the architect office, and they were so because I was a kid, so they were also spending time with me, the young architects, and somewhere there is so good feel factor spending time there, and every time whenever the vacation comes, especially summer vacation comes, I used to go there. And my family also used to ask me, where do you want to go in, this summer vacation? I used to tell only one thing is that I have to go to Sholapur, but I never told them that I have to go and visit our architect office. So that's something. Yeah. So that's how, whenever I go there, I stay there, for a month. So there was a practically exposure to me, an architect office, how it works. And the principal architect was very kind and very, very popular in those time. And yeah, so I think that's where the professional interest came. Second PUC. After that, we have to choose a profession, and I didn't think at all. I just my mind was very clear that I should go for an architecture. That's how the journey began.
To have been exposed to this as a kid and learning it as a kid, what made you start your own organization as such?
While studying, it was not easy for me because I came from the Belgaum is a district where I studied, and Athini is my native, and there is a village where I brought somewhere that destiny is very strong, because as a kid you choose one, and then the next year or next moment it will change. But however, as I told, the dream is one part, the reality is other part. When I went to the college, most of the people came from the metro city, and they are a background of architecture, second generations, and very established background of architecture in their family. But I was totally a very, there's no background at all, right? So it was not easy during college time, but I was, but with my hard work and my my destiny that I've chosen, I decided to complete my course in 5 years, which I did it. And many people in our college, it was not so easy those time. completing in 5 years. And many times people have taken more than that. Then I got, some confidence that, okay, now let me start my career from then.
So from then on until now, what do you see? How have you changed? How has your company grown from there?
You know that most of the professions start with zero, right? There's no investment other than your knowledge, right? So, but knowledge alone will not help you to establish. So, what also you required is an experience, practical experience. So when I came to Bangalore, again, as I told, that there is no background of mine where I had to go fast pace. So I had to literally start. I joined a very good bigger firm. I was also fortunate that I got a very nice internship in a very reputed firm, and I happened to work on an architect office design and studio, and which I did in my internship, and that gave a lot of exposure in the internship time. And after that, I got a very good exposure to architecture firm, and I stick to one place for more than 5 years, and that gave me a great amount of experience and confidence. While I was working in that firm, many of my friends were in working in a big MNC. They were earning a very good salary, but in my case, it was exactly opposite. I was paid less, but exposure, very lot of exposure, a great learning experience. So I think that's one of the best, a moment for me, a life experience for me, that that was a great an experience, in terms of understanding like architecture and learning, and then
For people who have no idea what architecture is and what does that you as a firm deal with, how would you explain it to maybe a 10-year-old?
because building a home is a big event, there is a lot of savings, and therefore there's a lot of emotion coming to picture, right? And also, they need somebody's, who can rely on it, who can, understand that what they want. See, most of the time, building a home is a very complex in nature, because building a home has a multiple layer of requirements, whether it is a individual family members, husband, wife, kids, parents, right? So, and everybody is having their good aspiration when it comes to building a home, and therefore, to make it very simple, you need an architect, who can understand everybody's point of view and then design your house. And therefore, what happens when you build a home with respect to your requirement and your aspiration, and that's where you're going to have a connection with the home. Then you enjoy the staying there, and then having a great memories and living in that home, isn't it?
And how do you cater to that? Because like now picks, all these different places where everybody sees interiors, everybody sees different things on different apps, and then they're like, no, man, this is how we want it.
And that's where it's very important to have a professional architect, where they sit with you and then go one by one, layer by layer, understanding of your requirement. See, what happens is that building a home is I would always say that it's a 50-50 partnership, where the client also engage themselves in every aspects of understanding the requirement, and therefore architects takes care of that requirement and developing the design. So the design doesn't happen just because at one time you share the requirement, and the second meeting you are meeting, the design is done. No, it's not like that. It takes time. And there's because there is a multiple meetings happen, there is multiple changes happens, and that's where there's a lot of clarity comes, right? So yeah, so the more you understand about your requirement, and the better outcome of design, and that's where the quality, design development happens, and that's where amount of complexity during execution time, and therefore you will not be very much influenced by any social media, because you have already been exposed, you have been already explored. This exploration is very important in the preparation stage, not during construction phase.
You have delivered, and your team has delivered more than 400 residential and commercial spaces, and more than 1 million square feet of residential villas and bungalows worked with.
Yeah,
And like, because I know you work with multiple NRIs,
yeah,
IT professionals, healthcare
yes, yeah.
spaces. So, do tell us a little bit about, some of your favorite projects.
So for me, for us, every project is favorite because it's a collaboration, right? So, yeah, it's like, you ask any director which movie is, very, you know, favorite, the answer remains same because they make the same effort for every project. It's the same experience with us also. So, but however, I can give you one great experience, the recently which we did. So this is a couple where they lived in Australia, and so they were very passionate about living in lavish home, a big spacious home. I would rather say spacious home. And in Australia and most of the space, large area, a large room size, landscape, vast landscape, and they were very fascinated and living lifestyle, and both husband and wife were in the same profession, IT, and then they lived for more than a decade there, and then they had a great time living there. So when they decided to move to India, and they had only one aspiration is build a home as per the Australian way of living. The way they lived there, they wanted to carry the same living in India also. So yeah, so when they came to here, and then and then they met us, and then and after a few meetings, they realized that okay, we are the right partner to to build a home. And then when we began the process, I think I remember that it took around close to 4 months for the whole preparation before you get into execution. But it was beautiful exposure. In fact, we did a very interesting way of construction, very different method we used. In India, we use brick and mortar, right? But in their home, the entire home of 8,000 square foot, we build in entirely fabricated. And
Wow.
absolutely. And typically, anything 8,000 square foot lavish home, it will not take less than 24 months. But we finished their home in next, in the, 10 months. So yeah, that's a huge, huge difference.
So difference
And
between almost 2 years to almost 10 months, right? So
yeah, it's a huge difference. Yeah, and they were very cooperative, and the kind of support, the kind of dedication, availability from the client was really nice, and that's a really great collaboration. I think that was a wonderful, a learning experience working in that home. So yeah, that was my recent success story.
fantastic. And so you said 400, that means there are 400 success stories. There are also possibly a lot of near misses, hits and misses. Um, what what makes people come to you, right? So how do you choose your clients or your clients choose you?
Wow. Nice question. So, yeah, yeah. And most of the time, the experience of building a home initially looks good when the execution began, and then that is where the roller coaster starts. There is no understanding of, the client has thought something, but the reality, there is something else is happening in sight. So imagine that, you have a beautiful designed home, but in reality is not matching. And you're expecting morning you go and see very nice teamwork, when in the end of the day they see there's a totally different outcome. There is no match with the design. And so this is where most of the property owners building a home, they face a problem. And and we have seen this quite often in our industry. Many property owners face this challenge a lot. Yeah, so what we did, we simplified it, and we identified what are the main reasons where they land up in these situations. So the first situation is that during construction, what happened, the client have multiple ideas. They become more creative, right? Imagine during construction your new idea comes, what will happen?
Suddenly everything is down, like all designs have to be redone, everything has to be paused, so chaos.
Yeah, yeah. Redesign is not a challenge. Which drawing to refer by the construction team,
Hmm.
right? That's too complex, and they have to wait for the technical drawing to come, right? And imagine, and the kind of habit that becomes a habit, getting more idea, influenced by new ideas during construction phase. And what happens in the whole construction phase is overall, kiosk, right? So this is the one main reason that many clients become more creative when the execution starts, construction begin, and this is where we sorted out, in the beginning stage. We found a solution of exploring a design in the preparation to construction phase, and this is the main first important, I can say, and where most of the client goes through this challenge. And the second thing is that you know you ask anybody, what is your expected budget during construction phase, before construction, and you ask what is the budget after the construction, there will be huge difference, right? Isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Standard complaint.
And many people don't reveal also that.
Um,
Some people are very friendly. They tell, "Oh, I expected this, but I finished this." But many people don't say that. In the end, they are very proud that we spent money and we built a home. But there is inside feeling is that I spent a lot, right? Yeah. So this is another problem which we have seen in the building a home property owners. So this is also we made it very simplified. So we being an experienced and expertise in the subject, we bring that clarity a lot in the beginning itself, in the design stage itself. Because when you make an estimation of the project, there are three most important. One is a technical parameter, second is a design parameter, third is a quality parameters, and therefore the cost is arrived at. So if these parameters are not considered, and that is why the cost is very, very approximate, and it is very misleading also. And in the end project, most of the property owners, they spend a lot of money, but they're not happy in the end because these three parameters are not met. So, and the third very important, that design looks very nice on the paper, but when the construction is happening, it's not matching, right? The reason is that very simple, that and you have heard so many stories, right? Contractor did not follow what design is given,
mm,
right? And architect was not supportive, when the design changes have to be done, drawings were not to the required time, and there is a lot of delay from the architect side, there's a lot of delay from the construction side, there's a lot of overhead cost shoot up from the day one to the end of the project. I'll tell you the typical reason for the same reason is one, is that many time, you know, most of the time, while they hire an architect, all these technical drawings are prepared at the time of construction phase, that is the main reason. That is the cause of the problem. So because building a home is a very technical one, and building a home has four departments: one architecture, structure, electrical, plumbing, right? And all these four departments are technical in nature also. So all this technical drawing to be prepared, and all this department has to correlate. Imagine if this two, all the department doesn't correlate, what will happen? There is a lot of kiosk at site. Neither construction team will tell, nor architect will say that, but end of the project, the client will feel that the end product, right? So that is why the preparing all the technical drawing, a comprehensive set, in the before you start the project is required, so that the construction go very smooth. So we seeing these three important situation, more than a decade. Then I made it a very simplified version, that preparation for construction. So we are the people who brought this system in the industry. So we designed stage one to stage five. So therefore typically we invest a good amount of time here. Uh, you know if you ask me how much time is required, is around close to 60 to 90 working days, depend upon the scale of the project. So if this is prepared well enough, and then the project goes smooth. What do you think?
yeah, absolutely. I think you're nailing all the how do you the first principles problems, and you're working at a first principle level.
Yes.
And especially the budget is always the case, right? So
Yeah.
we've heard so many places saying we thought this is what it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's either
Yeah.
1.5x, 2x,
Yeah. Yeah.
way more than that. There are delays, there
Yes.
are
Yes.
changes, there are too many things that are happening. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and is there anything that I have missed that people should know about design thought architects?
We are basically a very committed, architecture firm. And yeah, so we are a team of 30 architects, and all the architects, we are predominantly focused on, building villas and bungalows in the residential sectors. So, and because we have been doing more than a decade, and that becomes, a specialization in our practice. So, and so, yeah, so we have very much a great association with the construction team, and they're also very much in line with the kind of practice we do, and the kind of preparation we do, and then understanding, and we are very much focused on the customer centric, understanding the requirement, and then considering their specifications, and then developing the detailings, and then execution happens. So we are, it took time. It's took more than a decade, because it's a profession, to as you say, the first 5 years is in understanding the problems. The next 5 years is you try to fix it, and then after a decade you understand, the expertise, how important. So I think now, most of our customers say is that they have been having a great experience working with us. There's no surprises, when the construction is happening. And many clients, share their experience saying that, there's a lot of clarity before you get into execution, because they have a clarity, and there is a lot of confidence over the team. You have seen, most of the clients, facing conflict during construction phase with the construction team, right? There's a bigger blunder happen. There's a bigger conflict happen. There is a loss of money. There is loss of time, energy, right? Sometimes many people go through this experience of bad experience. So all that, we have taken care, before we get into execution. And our client is also witnessing and enjoying the process of building a home. So that's how, we came, in a far, practice. We have reached that.
And I think that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you and your team at Design Dot Architects. Being
Yeah.
here,
Thank
working with
you.
400 plus
Thank you.
projects is not an easy
Yeah.
space, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
has its own
Exactly.
challenges. You've gone through that. But why villas,
Yes.
Mantesh?
I always believe that if somebody is going to build a home, they should always think of design thoughts. So, yeah. And I also believe that, it takes time you to understand the whole domain, develop, and also it takes time to develop the team also. So, and therefore, the whole ecosystem is in line with the, value system, right? So yeah, and therefore we are doing, being focused so much in villas and bungalows, and that is why, you know, while we meet a client, they themselves decide in one meeting itself that you are the right partners, because that shows in our confidence level, that shows that how much value we can add into the project, and how much problem the client problem are taken care. So, and that's the reason that we have chosen one, domain. So that, customer can get the best experience.
As in the networking world when we where we met, right? So
Yeah,
villas means Mantesh. It's a set space. So you
yeah.
built that reputation of
Glad
time.
glad to hear that.
I remember asking you, giving you a call sometime, and I'd seen you in Masai Mara, and I said,
Yeah, yeah,
"Here
yeah,
is somebody who's let go of so many projects in its running state, and if he's in Africa for more than a week."
yeah.
That does not happen with other, places where it's
Correct,
almost you are required. It's almost a mandate that the person running the show is
correct,
required. So
correct.
how have you achieved this?
Now, because we are a subject expert, we built a team, in the span of these 10 years. And then one is a specialization. Second thing, we build a team, and we train so well that, uh, you know, I don't need to be every micro level detailing. There are like me, that, there are more than 10 senior architects, who handle a good number of projects. They have a great experience, and they have a great skill of, executions. So yeah, so my, my role is to, support them. If there are any technically very, very different challenges comes, and then, my requirement is there. Otherwise, the team, takes care entirely, and I'm very proud about that. So I mean, our team is doing great job. So that's why I'm able to take a time off.
So having a good team, having a reliable team, having set up the team
Yes,
for many years is what
yes,
working for you.
absolutely.
So maybe penultimate question: who is Mandesh beyond this? Beyond design thought architects. And I know you're a marathon runner. You are somebody who loves traveling. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, nice. Good. Thanks for asking this question. Yeah. So yeah. So when it comes to about me, it's basically I'm a highly spiritual person as an individual, and and I usually spend good amount of at least 2 hours a day. I spend time with self in the morning time, and I do walk, jog, practice meditation and yoga and so and so. So that's how my day begins, and then and I am also a great networker. From my as I told that I came Bangalore for no background, and I built my own network, and that's my second nature. Building a network, and I've been done almost more than 5,000 plus networking people, yeah, career, and probably more than that. And I think sometimes I would be glad. Sometimes I get so surprises that, sir, I met so and so person and they were praising about you. I said, yeah, is it? So I feel so good that yeah, I think networking. That's the magic of networking. Yeah, I think, and also the marathon happened. And did a number of marathon. That was also and that is also one of the way of spending time with self, connecting with self, exploring different places, building more people, meeting more people. I think more than what we do in a profession, also matters. What we do outside our profession also brings a lot more energy. Basically, you need to detach what you do, and then also you need to attach. So that's very important. That's also about my nature. While working I'm on the job, but when I'm not doing work and I'm off. So
So work-life
yeah,
integration and work-life balance is beautifully maintained.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Thank you. Yeah,
superb. So one last question before I let you go. It's an
yeah,
open question. It's beyond design art architect.
yeah, yeah.
What makes you happy in life?
What makes me happy in my life? I think yeah. So currently my happiness is uh, you know meeting more people, understanding their challenges, and listening to them, and then seeing whether I can get a better solution to that, and that's a professional part, and I also feel that many of the young architects who need a guidance, and they also need mentoring. I think I feel a great satisfaction in mentoring them and giving a direction. So that gives a lot of sense of satisfaction. Supporting them. And because I was also fortunate that I got such a good mentoring, coaching by senior architects, and I still also have many coaches, who support me in my whole career. There will be many challenges, when you take a bigger responsibility. So yeah, so and I also believe that spending my time with the team members, and then spending grooming them and developing them, future architects. And so that's what I that's my happiness.
Wow, superb, sir. So mentoring and contributing, making
Yeah,
more
yeah,
people becoming who they are.
absolutely.
That's a
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful space. So
yeah, yeah.
I've been a fan of yours for quite some time, and now it's a good place for me to introduce you to more and more people that may not know of you yet. So thank you for jumping in and sharing your experience and hosting me at your office.